Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Tell Me About Your Jesus podcast. I'm Brian, and I'm here with Shane, and we're just two ordinary people talking about our extraordinary God. We hope what you hear today helps you see how God moves in our lives.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for being back with us on this next episode. Today, we don't really have a game plan. We're just kind of shooting from the hip today. We were supposed to be on a local radio show here in Central Alabama this past Thursday, and had some issues come up, and we had to reschedule it. And we were going to have the host of that show on with us to try to record his story. And again, that just didn't work out with us. He had some stuff come up, and so we're just going to kind of wing it this time. And y'all bear with us. Brian?
Well, it's funny because I guess when you called me on Thursday, or text me, whatever you did, and said, hey, this isn't going to happen. I mean, I was a little disappointed. I was nervous about it.
Yeah.
Because it was an opportunity that we had. I was excited about it. I had told some others about it.
Yep.
I had people go, oh, wow, really? Okay. Well, we'll listen to it. We'll check it out. So there's a little bit of disappointment, right? But one of the things that, again, I hope we're trying to do with this is talking to people about just everyday life and things. Good things happen. Fantastic things happen. Horrible things happen. And then, disappointing things happen.
Yep.
So, by no means can I put us not being able to appear on the show on the same level as horrible, terrible things that people have to deal with. But it was disappointing, right?
Yeah. And that's, I think the hard part as Christians is to remember that's still God's plan. Like he had a reason not to have us on that show, or a reason you didn't get that job you wanted, or that, whatever it was that you were hoping for. When that disappointment hits, it sucks, but you got to remember it's God's plan, and just trust him. He'll work it all out for you.
Yep. So one thing I was thinking about that, and again, I definitely don't want to make light of anyone that's going through really, really bad things, because in comparison, this is no big deal, right?
It's nothing.
But it did remind me of a story, and if you don't care, I'm gonna share it.
Absolutely.
So when Amanda and I, a couple of years after we've been married, we lived in Atlanta. Like I mentioned that last time. Mm-hmm. And we would come home. We'd see, we were blessed that our parents both lived in the same town, so we could stay with them, visit with them. We kind of had to alternate whose parents were staying with, right? And who we're going to see and all that. But when we got home, we really wanted to visit a lot of older friends. So there was a certain set of friends that we'd gone to high school with, and we hadn't been able to see them. Hadn't been able to see them in probably, well over a year and a half, something like that. So everything aligned, and we were going to be able to see them, right? And we got ready, jump in the shower, everybody gets ready to go. I still had great hair in that day and age. So, as a matter of fact, this might have been during my brief ponytail era.
Hey, hold on. Amanda, we're going to need pictures of the ponytail.
It's so funny that so few pictures exist during that time. I thank the grace of God for that. But there was a day, believe it or not.
Our social media team will get right on those.
Yeah, good luck. But anyways, we'd gotten ready, and I had at that time I had to take time to comb my hair and get it like I liked it. So we go out and we hop in the car, and at the time I was driving a 1989 Chevrolet Beretta. Maybe I know you're chuckling at that. By the way, if you see one of those running on the road today, it's kind of a rare thing. Because, again, there was a 1989 and it was a Chevrolet and it was a Beretta.
Yeah.
But we hopped in there and put the key in the ignition and went to turn it, and nothing happened. Okay, that happens a lot with cars.
Yeah,
especially Beretta. But I went to turn the key and nothing happened. I'm like, okay, well, the battery must be dead. Let me, pop the hood and go check the battery. And, hop out, I'm going to go jump it off or whatever. And I go to rotate the key backwards, and the key would not rotate. The key would not go forward to crank the car. The key would not go back to allow the cylinder to release
Yeah.
to get the key out. You're a car guy, not me.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what's involved with this.
Yeah, Chevrolet Beretta.
Pretty much. Pretty much. So we did that, and I sat there, and car trouble is one of those things that stresses me out to no end, even to this day. If it's related to a car, it will send my anxiety level through the roof. There are certain things that just do that. It's car trouble for me. So we sit there, and we can't do anything. We're in Tuscaloosa. We have to be in Atlanta, back in Atlanta, the day after, because we both have jobs we have to go to. Can't get the key out. Can't do anything. So wound up. It took, thankfully, my dad, who is a lot handier than his son is. He wound up working on it, and he called a friend who, like if I have car trouble, I'm calling you.
Yeah.
He had a friend that he called, and by the time it was all said and done, and probably about 8 trips to Napa and several trips to get tools we needed, they wound up having to pull the steering wheel off to replace the key cylinder. The key cylinder had...
There's a little release. You have to pull the column apart.
That's exactly what it was. So anyways, going back to the original story, we did not get to go see our friends that night. So we were kind of bummed about that and kind of upset. And of course, my anxiety level has pegged because I'm thinking about what's going on with the car. But, we called them and told them I'm not going to be able to do it. Okay. Well, a couple days later, we got back in touch with them. And as it turned out, we didn't go there that night, but they actually had an unexpected guest come by that night. It was a lady that was dealing with some really heavy stuff in her life. If memory serves, it was like an abusive situation. And she was looking to find somebody to talk to. She knew our friends as well. And she stopped and talked to them, and they were able to help her get stuff situated and be in a better position. But one of them made the comment that she said she drove by, saw nobody was there, pulled in to talk to him.
Oh, wow.
The comment was, if we'd been there,
yeah, she wouldn't have stopped.
She would not have stopped. So had the Beretta cranked and done its thing, we would have been there, and who knows what would have happened to that lady. We don't know. I mean, she may have gone to someone else.
Yeah.
But the fact is, I can look on that in hindsight and see that even though I was incredibly anxious and frustrated and mad, there was a higher reason for that. So that's when I think about, when things happen, I go back to that story, and I haven't looked for it in a while. I'll have to see if I can find it, but I actually kept the key cylinder with the key still in it, right? Because obviously I got a new key with the new lock or whatever.
Nice.
But I try to keep that as a reminder to things that, when life is overwhelming, when I don't understand what's going on, there's a higher purpose for it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to remember in that moment. You're so focused on whatever it is that's gone wrong, and I've got to fix it. And, we get so hyper focused on it. And I'm the world's worst. I'm terrible about it. I'm kind of like you. When something starts to go wrong, especially something I should be able to fix fairly easy, and I can't, I'm flipping out, anxiety, whatever. But you just got to stop and draw back a little bit and trust God and trust His plan, and just remember that this little bump in the road is a bump in the road.
Yeah.
90% of the time. I mean, sometimes it's bigger than that, but even when it is bigger than that, God still has it under control.
Well, and sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, and I was just thinking back, I could have borrowed a car from my mom and dad.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought. Why didn't you just borrow a car?
Well, again, in hindsight, why didn't we?
Yeah.
Because I think there was a reason we didn't need to be there that night.
Yep, exactly.
I'm trying to remember. I think my car was parked into the garage. I don't think we were blocking them in. So we probably, had that option to do it.
Okay. Yeah, it's crazy when you look back on things. And I think that's real important to do also in our lives. I know a lot of people may or may not, but you've got to go back and look at your life and what got you here, and like you say, hindsight's 20/20. Look back and different perspective as you grow as a mature as a as a human being and as a follower of Christ, and it kind of opens your eyes a little bit. You can go back and look at it a little different, as not just, oh, my piece of crap car broke down on me.
Hey,
But
now piece of crap is that seems a little personal and hurtful. I love that car, man.
hey, I had a Cavalier. I know it's a piece of crap. No offense to all the Cavalier owners out there, if you're still there.
Or the 12 Beretta owners that are still out there around the country. God bless y'all too, right?
But yeah, I mean, it's easy to get wound up in what you feel is in the moment is such a huge issue, but it's really not, and God's got it.
Yeah, it's perspective.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, I did not have this perspective that many years ago. And when it was happening in the moment, did not have it. That's the one thing, as we live, I think we have the benefit of being able to look back and see where God has moved. All we can do in the moment is try to take assurance in the fact that there is something higher, something there's a purpose for it.
Right.
We're not just left to chance.
Yep.
The quote, God does not play dice with the universe. Fully believe that God has orchestrated what's going to happen, what's going to be, and things go according to his plan. I don't always like that. Sometimes I really, really don't like it. But there's an assurance that a God who is unchanging and is unchangingly good and gracious toward me, it's all going to be for my benefit. One of the things that our pastor says a lot, God does things for our good and for his glory. If I try to keep that in perspective, it helps.
Yep. I mean, Romans 8:28, and I'm not going to quote it perfectly, but God works everything for good for those that love him. Mm-hmm. It's not like all willy nilly, like you say, you're just throwing dice and hope for it, hope for the best. But we just got to trust in his plan. And God, it's just tough.
Yeah,
it's tough sometimes.
It is.
I'll say I noticed in all the
may not want to.
Yeah, so this week I did have a chance to help out a family member.
Oh, cool.
Help them move out of a kind of a bad situation. Mm-hmm. And also a friend of that same family member is now moved in and live, as roommates. But both of them were in kind of bad situations in separate families. I don't want to say abusive, nothing like that, but just not good. Just not good, healthy relationships. Mm-hmm. And so we were able to help find them a place to move to and get all their stuff together. And now they're in a little bit healthier place where they can maybe flourish and regain some of the things that have been beat down out of them, the hope and love. And I've been trying to talk to that family member here recently about, God's grace and what he can do for that person. And I'm trying to stay real vague here and not get into
that's cool.
Who's what and who's who. So
understand. So if you help someone move this week, that, by the way, that's like number 2 on my anxiety list, right? So if I look at things that stress Brian out, number 1 is car trouble.
Yeah.
Number 2 is helping people move. And by the way, if I ever have trouble with a car while helping someone move, I'll lose my ever-loving mind right there.
Well, let me tell you, in part of this move, I borrowed my father-in-law's truck, and I'll make sure this doesn't come out until after I tell him, but I apparently jackknifed the trailer a little bit too deep and put a crease on the quarter panel.
Oh.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
You sure you wanted to share that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I got to tell him anyway. You got to take it back to him.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, when it happened, I just... I had 2 or 3 people trying to tell me how to back up and how to turn. And you know how it is. They're trying to get you to go and turn here and cut deeper or sharper and all this other. And it's a small trailer and it was dusk and I couldn't see. And I finally just had to block everybody out. But I got a little too deep in it and creased the quarter panel. Wow. So, yeah. So that would have really pegged your anxiety.
Yes, it would have. It would not have been a good day for sure.
I will say I handled it okay. I was like, well, crap. Okay.
Well, sometimes, all you can do is...
It's done. It's already happened.
Right? Yep. So when you start a GoFundMe for your truck, your quarter panel repair?
Yeah, I'm hoping he's going to be kind to me. luckily, that's the quarter panel that was already damaged.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
there you go.
I just added some damage to it.
Well, you gave him an excuse to get it repaired, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the really nice truck that very low miles and
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. I know the truck you're talking about.
yeah. It's sitting outside in front of my house.
Well, I'll offer him $100 for it if he'll sell it to me for $100. You don't have to deal with it. I'll take it creased quarter panel.
Heck, I'll take it for $100. It's a nice truck.
Well, so it's funny. That made me think about the number 3 thing that stresses me out: painting. I hate painting. Painting inside the house, can't stand it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't like that either.
It's funny. I could probably do a top 10 list of the things that stress me out.
And it's funny. You think about those top 10 things that stress you out, and they're valid. They stress us out. But what do you think God's thinking up there, looking down at you, getting all stressed out over painting the wall?
Yep.
He's like, "Come on, man! I had this little shepherd kid kill a giant with a slingshot,
Right.
and you're fussing about painting the wall."
I am. And like we were reading this week, that just jarred my memory. Something I was reading this week about, or listening to, about how people, we look at all the people in the Bible about the Israelites and how, God has blessed them, brought them out of the land, and then they rebel against God and turn against God and do all these things. And we're just sitting there scratching our heads going, how could you have come out of this situation? You were delivered by plagues out of Egypt. You were brought across the desert, through the wilderness, led by fire at night and a cloud by day. You've had manna provided to you every single day.
Yep.
How could you not believe that God's going to be faithful and see you through? And we look at these at Israel and go, you guys are a bunch of knuckleheads.
Yeah.
But you know what? Tell me I'm not a bigger knucklehead.
Yeah.
Because do I really think that God has been faithful to me before is going to stop doing that? It's not in his character, right?
Yep.
It's not who he is. He's good. He's gracious. He's kind. He's loving. And anything that occurs, to what I said a few minutes ago, is for my good, shaping me to be in the image he wants me to be, and for his glory.
Yep.
So I am the biggest. I forget what. I think it was Paul that talks about being the chief among sinners. I'm the chief among knuckleheads. So I will take that spiritual title.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, in the same way, you get wrapped up in your problem and you're like, I just can't. Oh my gosh. Ain't nothing too big for him. He's up there laughing at us. And like, what is wrong? I mean, you got kids too. You know how it is. You tell your kid to do something and you're like, look, this is all you got to do. And they're like, oh, I can't do it, or they don't do it, or they put it off, or whatever. And you're just, as dad, you're like, oh, you don't understand. I'm trying to work this out for you. He's doing the same thing, Yep. It's hard to, I say all that, and it's extremely hard to know all that in the moment.
But to say it's hard to live it day by day.
Yes.
And that's why, one of the things we talked about since day one is we're just ordinary folks.
Yep.
We mess up. We're going to misspeak on this a lot. We're going to probably misstate some things. That's okay.
That will be me.
Hey, yeah, if you want to be second chief among knuckleheads, you can have that one.
Oh, goodness.
But, I forgot what I was saying.
Case in point.
Exactly.
Y'all remember we have social media pages out there you can jump on and tell me about your Jesus podcast on Facebook and Instagram and what is our Twitter? You said
Tell me about your Jesus.
Tell me about your Jesus.
It's
okay.
that simple.
Okay, yeah. We try not to make things too complicated because, well, honestly, we're going to forget it.
Well, Chief Knucklehead here has to remember what it is.
We also have the website. You can go to tellmeaboutyourjesus.com. There's a spot there. Man, we would love to hear your story. Don't be shy. You can leave your name out. You can put in John Doe if you're nervous about it, and just tell us your story. And we'll try to read it on air. If you want to come on air and talk about your story, man, reach out to us one way or the other. Let us know. You can catch the podcast on Spotify, Amazon,
Apple,
iHeart.
it's on YouTube. It's
YouTube.
Basically, anywhere you can see a podcast,
Yeah.
this will show up.
All of your streaming services. Just type in "Tell Me About Your Jesus," and it will probably pull us up.
Yep. And if it doesn't, drop us a note and let us know where you're looking for it at.
Exactly.
And please, by all means, share with your friends and anyone you think might be encouraged by this, just to know that, we have an extraordinary God that works great things through ordinary people. And we're trying to tell kind of our stories around that. We want to hear their stories.
Yep. We're going to have some guests coming up. We're going to do some recording with some guests. We've already got lined up. We've just got to get everybody together at the right times. And we should have those coming up in the next couple of weeks. I think we've got 2 or 3 folks already lined up.
Yep.
And then we've got some more folks in mind for after that. So please join us on social media. Shoot us something on email. Whatever you need to, let us know, especially if you got a story to tell. Man, we would love to hear it.
Absolutely.
So I think we're going to cut it off there for the day.
All right.
Remember, everybody, to act justly, love mercifully, and walk humbly with God.